Hello, Clifford Sullivan, Solicitor of Law Plus Solicitors here, speaking to you on this Parental Alienation Europe platform. Very glad to let you know in this important area of parental alienation about a case that could be relevant to you. In the High Court on the 23rd of July, an important declaration, which was really a clarification of the law, was made. And I'd like to read to you exactly what that declaration states and then to talk to you a little bit about it. So, excuse me while I refer to my phone for the exact wording, okay? The declaration said, a prosecution for a criminal offence allegedly occurring during the course of civil proceedings heard in a court of law, otherwise than in public, open brackets, in camera, close brackets, is capable of being investigated and prosecuted as prescribed by law. Now, that's a declaration of the law, and I think an important clarification as to what the situation is. The wording of that was actually framed by the Supreme Court itself. What had happened historically in this case, the applicant as a litigant in person had brought a judicial review, was refused it, appealed it to the Supreme Court. At that stage involved us, and we helped the Supreme Court in framing a proposition that was to be ruled upon then in the context of judicial review back down in the High Court. So the Supreme Court was very interested in this proposition. It recognised, I think, that this was not clear. And certainly on the ground, that was the message that we were getting, and that was common in situations of parental alienation, childcare proceedings, custody and access proceedings, that you might go to the Gardaí saying, perjury was committed in my case, and when the guards would find out it was an in-camera case, they'd say, I'm sorry, we cannot go there, it's an in-camera case. And that is what was happening on the ground. And this declaration makes clear to the police, the Gardaí, as they're known in Ireland, that they can investigate and they can prosecute as prescribed by law. This should make a difference on the ground to you. What I would say is that for a criminal offence to be occurring, we're talking here about either perjury or perverting the course of justice. Remember that the bar, the test for criminal offences is beyond a reasonable doubt. So it needs to be very, very clear cut. You shouldn't go and bother the Gardaí if there isn't a clear cut offence. In your view, they're the ultimate arbiters as to whether to prosecute. And of course, ultimately, it's down to a court to determine whether a criminal offence has actually occurred or not. But what this declaration is doing is it is saying that the Gardaí can now do that. And we are aware, for example, of one lady who went to the Gardaí earlier this week, having heard about this declaration made in July. And the Gardaí had previously said to her, we cannot go there, we cannot lift the lid on what are closed in-camera proceedings. And when this lady made known to the Gardaí the fact of this declaration, this statement of the law, the Gardaí said, okay, we can now investigate, we can now go there. And so this is making a difference and can make a difference in your case. I would like to point out what this case does do and what it doesn't do. It does state that it's capable of being investigated and prosecuted, but for this to really move forward, you need to look at, well, what is the evidence that is going to sustain a criminal charge of perjury? There has to be clear evidence of false information, evidence given under oath. And for that, you may need access to the DAR recording of the court, and it's my view that for the Gardaí to access that DAR, they may still need to apply to the district court for permission to lift the in-camera as regards that DAR recording. But this does not take away from the fact that the Gardaí now have to get involved. They do have to get involved. It's capable of being investigated and prosecuted. They can't just decide to ignore an allegation of a criminal offence. So this declaration is good news. It's a clarification of the law. The Supreme Court wanted this proposition to be tested in the context of judicial review proceedings. We were opposed by the state legal team, and they did oppose us for 2 or 3 years, but eventually came to a position where they said, we will not now oppose that declaration being made. So that declaration was ultimately unopposed and is now a statement, a declaration of the law in Ireland as regards this matter. So thank you for your attention. I hope this has been of some interest to you and that it will be of some help to you. Thank you very much.